Okay guys, so in today's video I'm going to be going over my Robinhood portfolio. If you guys are new to the channel, I started a 100k challenge where I would turn my Robinhood portfolio into a $100,000 portfolio. So it's pretty cool if you guys check out my progress along the way. But before I go into this video, I want you guys to smash the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. So let's get right into it. So I had a pretty big day, one of my biggest days ever on Robinhood. The portfolio was up over $600 at 32% gains, and most of those gains were done from Visa call options. So let's just quickly go over the progress of the portfolio. So if we started the all-time progress of the portfolio, we could see here. So all-time, this portfolio is up 26%, just over $500. And I'm pretty sure you guys noticed the slow gradual decline that I had here in my Robinhood portfolio and this fast jump. So I'm going to talk a bit more about how I made that happen and how I started growing the portfolio exponentially using options. But first of all, the big decline that I had here was simply because this isn't the only portfolio that I'm managing. So I have other portfolios. I use Stash Invest, Fidelity, some other accounts. I use Acorns as well, many other different accounts. So what I was doing with this account was I was thinking about it all wrong. I had a lot of money invested in a stock called Naked Brands. It was just a disaster stock. It was actually a company that I didn't actually pick myself. It was a recommendation from a family member. So that was just rule number one for me. Really, don't necessarily just take someone's word for buying a stock just because they said so. Make sure you do your own research. So owning that Naked Brand stock, that was like the majority of the holdings in this portfolio, and that's what took the portfolio down to its all-time low of about barely $1,000. So I was down almost 50% on this portfolio, and I was just I was basically holding on to a loser that I was hoping that come back. So the first step I made was I simply sold off the Naked Brands group and just moved on. I think I banked about a $500 to $600 loss. So I just took that loss and just moved on. The second thing I realized is that with Robinhood you can trade options. And options are very powerful. They allow you to control a lot of shares with a small investment called a premium. So I just changed my strategy. The second thing I did was not only did I start trading options, but I started trading options of more popular companies. So not necessarily cheap options like for companies, for example, I have over here for Aurora Cannabis and Neo, but I started trading options on companies that I understood really, really well. So that's Visa, Apple, companies like that, companies where I could clearly understand the products and the company spit off a lot of free cash flow, meaning that maybe in the short term they're not going straight up, but over like the medium term to the long term, I'm pretty confident that these stocks are going to go up. So because of this kind of mental switch I made, if we could take a look at my performance over 3 months, and I can just show you guys how I've slowly been improving. Now, like I said, I'm a long way away from my goal. I'm not even 3% towards my goal, but it's just nice to kind of see that progress that I've been making. So over the last 3 months, I'm up over $1,000 on this account. You guys can see that I'm up $1,000, 66% over the past 3 months. Over the past month, I'm up almost $1,500. Over the past 30 days, I'm up over 120%. So I've been able to more than double this account over the past 30 days just by making those small adjustments. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that after I go into the portfolio progress. So over this past week, I am up. Give it a second. I am up over $1,000, and like I showed you guys that last day, had a really good opening session on Tuesday, January the 21st, and I was up $600. So let's just go over my portfolio really quickly, and then I'll talk more about options. So with this portfolio, since I just started on Robinhood last year, like I mentioned earlier, I've been using more traditional brokers like Fidelity and stuff like that for many years, over a decade. But this is Robinhood's where I dipped my toe into it. I wasn't really sure about the platform last year, but when I heard they were going IPO, I figured why not just give them a shot. So in Robinhood, my holdings are much smaller. One of the things I used to do, one of the mistakes with this portfolio, is I had way too many holdings. So I maybe had like 10 to 15 stocks, and I really didn't understand all of them that well because I wasn't able to read all these quarterly reports and follow with news, and my news feed became like a big mess. So the third change I made was I reduced the holdings in this portfolio, and I tried to only add companies that I thought were disruptors, companies that were taking previous industries and improving them. So I didn't want to buy something, for example, one of the stocks that I used to hold but I got rid of for 2020 was JCPenney. JCPenney is a retailer that is not evolving with the times. They're not moving towards the digital e-commerce sales, and people want to pick up things like delivery and stuff like that. So I sold all of the companies that I thought were kind of like not changing with the times. So I picked up companies like, for example, Roku. Roku is a great example of a company that's taking existing technology and making it better. They simply sell streaming TV boxes that you can use on your TV. You can turn any TV into a smart TV, or they have the software already installed, and you can use it to access any of your apps like Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV, whatever you want. So this was an example of a company that is kind of evolving and is a disruptor. NIO is another one. It's like the Chinese version of Tesla. That's another company that I really like. I think that they're doing a lot of nice things with the electric vehicle market, and they're one of the biggest players in China. So even though Tesla recently opened their own factory in Shanghai, I still think China is a very culture-centric society where the people are very patriotic and they really believe in supporting their own businesses. So even though Tesla is going to sell some cars there, I believe a lot of Chinese consumers will look to NIO first, just because it's run by William Li, who is a billionaire, a legit billionaire in China. So I think a lot of people are going to buy his products. So WPG, this is another stock that I recently reduced my holdings in, and simply because I'm not sure about the company being able to pay their dividend. They are a REIT. They own a lot of like lower to mid-tier strip malls all over the United States. The dividend is awesome. So one of the reasons why I bought the stock in the first place was to capture that dividend, because I thought a lot of people were scared that the dividend might get cut. So that's why they were selling the stock. And I'll show you guys real quick. Okay, so the company pays a 26% dividend yield. So the reason that dividend yield is so high is because the shares have come down so much, but the company has maintained a 25-cent dividend per quarter. So that can add up a lot of income very quickly, and it looks like the stock has stabilized even though it's been on a long-term downtrend. So I just want to show you guys some of the stability that I've seen in the stock price as of late. So let's check out here. So here's where I call this the accumulation phase. That's where the stock has been down so much and people are accumulating shares, and this could be poised for a run up. But I did slightly half my position because that dividend could get cut. So if they cut their dividend, that's going to send the stock probably much lower. So that's just something to think about. So let's go back to the portfolio. Okay, so I also have a small position in Aurora Cannabis. I mentioned this stock earlier, guys. I think this is one of the best players in the cannabis industry going forward. But for me, I know this position is pretty small, but I plan to add to this position over time. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to make a mistake of, say, like buying 500,000 shares, and then potentially the price goes lower, and then now I'm kind of holding a falling knife. So for me, I'm buying in 25 to 50 share increments, slowly building a position over time to get the lowest price possible. The fifth stock that I own in this portfolio is Beyond Meat, and I know a lot of you guys out there left some not so positive comments about Beyond Meat on the earlier video that I made. I think I made that video last week. But one of the things you got to realize with this company, guys, is that we are in the very, very, very early stages of plant-based meats. A lot of people aren't really familiar with what plant-based meat is. It's simply just a healthier substitute for traditional animal meats. And one of the things I like about Beyond Meat is that not only is this a company that's going to make a lot of money in the future, but it's actually really good for the environment, guys. There's a lot of problems associated with heavy meat consumption, and I just think that the industry has become so big, so they're having to cut down rainforests to raise cattle, and it's just not sustainable for 7 billion people, 8 billion people, whatever number you want to use, the world's population, to continue to consume that much meat. So this is a company that's not only going to make money, but they're going to do something good for the environment. And one of the reasons the stock is up so much today, it was up big on Tuesday's trading session, is that Starbucks announced that they were going to have plant-based meats. They're going to push plant-based meats. I think if I could pull up that article. Okay, so it says Beyond Meat soars after Starbucks unveils plans to expand plant-based options. The decision to use more plant-based meat alternatives, the first of 5 strategies Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson outlines part of a campaign to become a resource-positive company. So that's the reason the shares shot up, guys. I was actually very surprised myself. But McDonald's is already in partnership with Beyond Meat in Canada, and now it looks like Starbucks is going to jump on board as well. So Beyond Meat is one of those companies where obviously they do sell their plant-based meats in the grocery store, which is nice for the average consumer. But what we're looking for is adoption in restaurants and coffee shops around the world. So McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks. If these companies partner with Beyond Meats to sell their plant-based products, we're going to see an explosion in sales for Beyond Meat. So that's one of the reasons I like this stock. Like I said, I don't want to put too much of my portfolio in any one company, so I only have 14% here, but I plan to add more of this over time. So right now I'm sitting at $1.17. I think that this is definitely the bottom for this company. If you guys aren't familiar with this stock, it was one of the biggest runners last year. So as we can see here, over the last 52 weeks, if you quickly look at the chart, this stock ran up way up to about 234 before there was a sell-off, and then they issued some more shares, and then the insiders were allowed to sell their shares as well. So that kind of pushed the stock down. So then we had a big, nice, long accumulation phase, which I didn't actually notice. I was thinking that the stock might go lower, but now we're back up. So there's a lot of room to run for Beyond Meat, and this is like a 2 to 5 year play for me. This isn't something I'm expecting to make a lot of money on right now, but I don't want to miss this because I'm pretty confident that you're going to see a lot of these products in the future. And a lot of people, me myself, I personally tried their pea protein products, and they taste pretty good. Obviously, to me, it doesn't taste exactly like a hamburger would, but it's a good taste. So it's not like they're pushing a bad product. And the final stock I have in this portfolio is alkaline water. So this is another CBD play for me, guys. I really like this company. This company, it has a very positive spin to it, and they also have partnered with high profile celebrities like Mark Wahlberg and P. Diddy. So they've got some rich celebrities backing this company, and the company is basically selling alkaline water, through over 50,000 stores all over the United States. But they're also coming out with their own CBD drinks, which is going to be a huge industry, because everyone is talking about, with all these cannabis stocks, they're talking about, the medicinal use and the recreational use. But for me, I'm not a smoker myself. So for me, the biggest benefit for these companies is going to be the CBD oil. The cannabinoid oil is very healthy. It's has similar properties to something like a coconut oil, where if you can extract the oil from the plant, it's good for pain release, it's good for making you feel calm, and it doesn't have the negative effects of smoking, where you're burning the plant. And because when people talk about, smoking is bad, it's not the cannabis plant that's bad, it's the effects of burning the cannabis plant. And you have all these byproducts that come once you burn it. And that's what the harmful effects is. So by using the CBD oil, you're not burning the chemical plant, and you're getting all of the positive health benefits. So this company, they're involved with the CBD oil, and that's why you've seen this stock kind of trade in similar range with a lot of those other cannabis stocks. So I like this stock a lot. I think we are hitting an accumulation phase here where the shares are just have been beaten down so much. A lot of nice things to say about this company, and the stock price is very, very cheap. So that's my small portfolio, guys. I plan to keep this Robinhood portfolio pretty small and tight so I can easily follow these companies. I do have some other portfolios, as I mentioned earlier, and my goal is to not own more than 20 stocks across all my portfolios. In the past, I had so many stocks, and it was just it was very hard to manage. So for me, my goal is 2020, keep everything under 20. So now let's go into exactly how I grew this portfolio so quickly. So as I showed you guys earlier, the portfolio is up over $1,500. And this is just basically using the power of stock options. So let's quickly go into what are stock options. Well, as you can, I can just show you guys one of my better trades that I'm working on right now. So okay, great. So what I did is I've been trading kind of calls. So I've been trading near in the money calls of bigger tech stocks, things like that, Visa, Apple, that I think are going to move up substantially. So one of my better trades as of late is Visa. Now I actually own Visa stock. It's actually the largest position that I own in my alternative Fidelity portfolio, but this is also a stock that I want to trade the options on. So let's just take a look at what I did. So I knew that Visa is going to report earnings on January 30th, and I was pretty confident that the stock would run up approaching earnings because the holiday season was the biggest holiday season ever. So I'll just quickly show you. Okay, since bought more stock this holiday season, e-commerce sales jumped 18%. So as we see here, it's hit a record high, bigger than the e-commerce boom. So basically, guys, we had a record of people going to be buying stuff online using their Visa cards. So I had pretty confident that Visa was going to have some spectacular earnings on January 30th. So what I wanted to do is I don't really feel comfortable buying call options after earnings because I've kind of been burned that way, and also a lot of the options are so priced up. So what I like to do is I like to buy call options approaching earnings because I'd rather buy the options and make that money moving into the earnings than hold the options after the earnings and hope and pray that it's going to go up. So what I did is I simply on January 17th I knew that Visa was kind of gonna probably push over $200. So I bought 2 contracts for 43 cents, and then the contract, like, the price came down a bit, so I bought another one. So then what I did is I wanted to boost some quick profits. So I sold a contract at $1.11 to take some of my money off the table. And then I saw the price coming back down again. So then I simply sold them the last 2 at $1.03. So I said, okay, I made a pretty decent profit there. And then what I did earlier this morning, I saw that Visa was kind of dipping in a morning sessions, and kudos out to Tim Sykes, guys. You can learn a lot of stuff from his channel. He made a video talking about his 3 favorite trading patterns where he says morning dip buying. So when the stock dipped down in the morning, I picked up 2 more contracts at $1.26. So what happened is Visa dipped down in the morning, as you can see here. And then, well, this is actually the options chain, but the option dipped down here. That's when I bought it, and then it ran back up. So I was able to make 148% return in one day using stock options. Very, very powerful stuff, guys. And this is really the first time that I've been trading options serious, so I'm by no means an expert. I'm simply just learning from, I read some good stuff from Jeff Bishop. He's over at Raging Bull. You guys can check him out. He actually has a free options trading book there. Really good stuff. Just Google, like, I'll link to it in the description. But Jeff Bishop, I learned a lot options trading from him. And I also have an Amazon Unlimited subscription. I bought a few options trading books there. You guys, if you have Amazon Unlimited, you can download like unlimited Kindle titles, and you can just read some books there. There's a lot of good options trading books there. So I've been just kind of learning as much as possible I can on options, because I knew when I messed up by destroying the portfolio, like my first 6 months of Robinhood, I knew I needed to do something different, and I didn't want to I didn't want to end the challenge, because when I first started this, my whole goal was to get this to a 6-figure portfolio, to kind of bring you guys along with my progress on, Robinhood, because I was completely new to the platform and stuff like that. So I did the same thing with these call options as well. I just bought some cheaper ones and sold them higher. So I'm going to be making some separate videos on kind of my call option strategies, but so I show you guys some more of my trades, but I don't want this video to go on for so long, and I think it'd be better if I made a separate video charting a lot of those profitable trades I did. So that's basically what I've been doing. It's just basically holding fewer companies so I can follow them better, and trading call options on stocks like Visa and Apple and stuff like that. So one of the options I wish I had traded was Beyond Meat, and that was actually a stock option that skyrocketed for me like a week ago, but I missed it and I didn't get a chance to sell it. But so one of the things I would also say, if you want to make money even quicker, try to trade stock options on fast moving stocks with a lot of liquidity. So companies like Beyond Meat, Roku, Tesla, these are companies where these stocks move extremely fast. But for me personally, I'm not as into risk. So for me, I prefer to make money slower on my options than to make money really, really fast. Because for instance, for Beyond Meat, the stock can jump up 17%, and as I've seen, the stock can go down 17%. But if you want to make ridiculous gains, I'm talking $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a day on Robinhood, stuff like that. You want to try those more volatile stocks. So that's it for now, guys. I'm excited to record this video. I finally got the portfolio moving in the right direction, and like I said, I really thank you guys for joining me on my journey. I wish I had signed up for Robinhood years ago, but the best time to do something was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. So I'm just happy to kind of finally get on a right track, and now I have a strategy that I can actually grow this account without having to put a ton of money into it, because I notice a lot of people they have big, huge accounts, but a lot of the money has been put in themselves. So with this challenge, my goal is to grow this account. I haven't put nearly as much money in. I've only deposited about $2,000, $2,100. Well, I can show you guys exactly how much I've put in. Okay, so I put into this account. Okay, so I put in this account $2,100. So one of the goals with this challenge for me is to grind up an account to 100K without having to put in, say, 80K. Because if you put in $80,000 and then your account's $100,000, like, that's amazing. But you can do something similar with that if you just buy something that's been so consistent over the long term, like Apple stock or something like that. Google stocks that usually generate around 15 to 20% returns on autopilot, simply because the companies are so big and so many people use them. So for me, this is a more kind of a milestone for me to grind up a small account, showing that even if you don't have a lot of money to invest, even if you only have like $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, you can still get to a 6-figure portfolio using some different strategies. Obviously, more aggressive growth strategies, but these strategies that lots and lots of people use every day. And there are people that are making millions trading options, and there's all different types of options. People are trading options on ETFs. People are trading options on all different types of stocks, put options, betting against stocks. Last year, and when everyone was complaining about cannabis stocks going down, people that bought put options were making a fortune. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to kind of a way to grow your portfolio, and I'd like to learn as well. You guys have any tips for me on trading options or just in general? I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So that's it for now, guys. I wanted to just make this video kind of sum you up what's been going on in Robinhood, because I know a lot of you guys saw one of my previous videos and it's been a while since I've uploaded. So I'm going to try to stay more consistent with this. I'm going to at least try to do one video a month. But if the portfolio keeps ramping up like this, I'll try to make this a maybe weekly thing. So that's it for now, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I'm 2.5% of the way there, and we'll see how long it takes for me to get to my 100K goal. Also, one caveat: I am adding money to this portfolio just to stay consistent. So I'm adding around $10 to $20 a week to this portfolio. And the reason why I do that is just to give the portfolio a slighter nudge. I don't like to, with all my investment accounts, I like to add money weekly. I think building that habit of just investing is something I want to do. Even if I'm just adding $5, $10 for me, it's the habit, because if I have more money, then I can do more. If I have less, then I can do less, but I'm still maintaining that habit. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching so much, and take care.